that she just was up all night, and every midwife here knows what that's like, and she wouldn't have been safe driving from Houston to here, so she just wanted you to know she would want to be here, and if she could, she would be. She's a great person. She is in nurse midwifery because she met Ann Dignan. She was the first midwife she ever met, and Jackie knew that's what she needed to do, but Ann got her on the path. Okay, now for me.
If we could have your attention in the back, please.
This thing is so difficult.
It won't go down any further.
Will it go down any further?
Maybe we could get a Dr. Pepper box for Angela to put
This
on
might
top
be
of
better.
her chair.
Now, I have a right to sit. Number one, I'm a crone. Second, I'm a sage. And third, I got a bad back. Okay? So that's enough to qualify, plus being old. But I really do love to talk to people, and I love to see you. And an audience just will make me thrive. And to be able to talk about somebody that I really loved, that's all the better. God's been hard on me. Ann's the second person within 4 months that was from my early days as a midwife who has died. And so I've got a heart with a lot of holes in it, but I was always taught, and I really believe it's true, that until you get holes in your heart, there's no way for you to look out on the rest of humanity. Because everybody's got holes, and it's through those holes that we look at the world. I'm going to start because I've been going over this in my head so many times. Ann was a true hippie. I don't think any of you need to not know that. Really. And she came to me. I was her first teacher in Texas. Not her first teacher. I was just her first teacher in Texas. And I'm really not that much older than she is. And she came, and she had like strong-armed her director at the University of Mississippi to come to the birth center I ran in Raymondville, Texas, because she was absolutely, positively traumatized by the medical center. And all of you who know her know you talked about how she farmed and raised animals. She was dirt, and was dirt. And there was that wonderful commonness about her, that wonderful, yes, I've known you all my life kind of stuff about her. So I was pleased that she wanted to be there. So when she came, she drove up to the birth center in a Volkswagen, which I was later to find out a small little, the usual little bug. She had a second one, and she stole from each one of them so she could keep one of them running all the time. That was Ann. And when I got there, she had taken the whole second seat and covered it up and had her whole little clutch of chickens back there. I've seen people travel with a lot of animals, but I'd never seen anybody travel with chickens. But she did. And she got her little place, and she fixed it up. There was some really wonderful things about Ann. One of them was that a few people will have the opportunity in your lifetime to work, to love, and to be friends with someone who is not like you, but is so like you. And that's what Ann was. In personality, she was skinny, I was fat. She was really, really brilliant. I was clever. It's just, we just were not the same. But yet what we believed about women and women's health and what you should be allowed and not allowed to do when you have babies was exactly the same. And that cannot be any bigger blessing. What a fabulous blessing to meet anyone like that in your lifetime. I always knew if I wasn't there, she would do exactly what I would have done. And if she wasn't there, I would do exactly what she would have done. That is fabulous. There are a few events that I have to speak about. One was during the time she also finagled them that not only was she going to do her integration with me, but they were obliged through a grant that was being given by the government to run that nurse midwifery program in Mississippi to do a year's service. And she wanted to do that year's service in South Texas, and she was able to do that. And during that time that she was with me, unfortunately, we had a real crisis among nurse midwives because no one could get a malpractice insurance. Now, Ann nor I cared whether we had malpractice or insurance or not, and we worked our whole life that way. But it became a problem for the clinic, and I was in ceaseless meetings trying to see what we could do. And the director had come to me and said, I think you need to give all the ladies their money back and tell them they'll have to find someplace else to have their babies. And I said, absolutely not. I refuse to do it. I will not do that. I came here to serve people. And Ann walked up to me and put her arms around my shoulders, one of those side hugs. She wasn't a huggy type. So she just put her arm around and squeezed real hard, and it said everything. It said everything. That was my kindred spirit, and she was right there when I needed her. After she had done her time, so to speak, and she was going to come here to the hill country, where she really, really wanted to practice, I used to come and see her occasionally. I slept in her teepee. I would go with her while she milked the goats. I watched her tend her garden. It was the first time I'd ever seen anybody build a fence around their house and their garden to keep the animals out. It's usually the other way around. You keep the animals and then you fence the garden. Well, that's not the way she did. She lived with her garden, and I think that's why things grew so well. They were all part of her, and that's why I can say with great affection that Ann was dirt. You know, she was dirt. She was, as the first speaker said, one of the smartest women I was ever around. And I remember her when I came up here at that time where we were sleeping in the teepee. We had gone to town, and I had only found out recently that she had been in cahoots with some other people to get me to run to be the president of the American College of Nurse Midwives. And I was supposed to call in to find out if I had won or not, because I obviously was down here. So she and I pulled up to the payphone outside the Mobley motel. Do you remember that on 281? The Mobley Hotel. A motel, I think. And so I got out, I made the call, and the secretary said, well, she said, the vote is so close that we're going to have to count again. So I said, okay. So I got in the car and I said, Ann, the vote's so close they have to count again. And so she said, well, we'll sit here and wait. And I'm supposed to call back in 15 minutes. So I called back, and this lady was not happy that I got elected. I have no idea why, but she was not happy. And so she said, well, you won by just a few votes. And I said, you know, my mother was born in the shadow of Churchill Downs, and she always said, a horse doesn't have to win by 2 or 3 lengths, only by a nose, and if you have your money on it, you get paid. And I won. Well, I got in the car in a truck and told her, and that's one of the few times I ever saw Ann like that. I thought she was going to beat my arm off. She went, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. She was so sweet, so very good to me. And I think because we both believed in a simple life, we had such strong feelings about what women should do and what was their birthright to give birth. And so I just won't go on because I could, but I want to tell you that my last blessing was that my calendar was clear on January 12th. And I had seen her on the 17th of December and said, I'd really like to come on the 12th and see you. And she said that'd be fine. And then I called her and she said that would be fine. And while I was sitting and visiting with her, someone else called. And this is one of those backhanded, wonderful things that happens in your life. And she said to the person calling, I need you to call back later because I'm visiting with my friend, Angela. Now, she would have had a fit that I wore this black suit today, you know. But all of you know that I'm a nun and I act like it every now and then. And this is what I wear when I give testimony in the courtroom, when I want people to legislators to listen to me. I try to look the part, you know. And Ann would have so believed that was right, you know. Do what you need to do to get the end that you really want. And in the process, try to help as many people as you can along the way. I don't even know how to wind this down. I have no poem to read. I have only my heart to tell you that that was such a blessing, because the very next day, June told me she started on her downhill to her terminal last week. And was that a blessing? I was there when I needed to be. And that memory will live with me for a long time. And I thank God now, for I'm an old lady, and old ladies often can look back and know who their friends are. And it is my honor to say the lady that was dirt was my very, very good friend. God bless you all.